All right, I want to start out by introducing our three judges tonight. You might know him as the godfather of CNU, the reason we're all here. Be kind to him or you'll get a horse's head in your bed tonight. Everybody give it up for Andres Guare. All the way from Lafayette, Louisiana. She's as smart as she is elegant, Kate Crew. And everybody's favorite judge, back for his 5th year in a row. We couldn't do it without him. The cuddly teddy bear, John Anderson. All right, our first debater leading off tonight. He lives in Seattle. He's from Texas. And a name like Houston, we know, right? He's works in architecture. I asked him why he wanted to do this tonight. He said, hey, if you got something to say and you're passionate, get up and say it. Give it up, everybody, for Ace Houston. Yeah, I'm ready. Go for it.
I've been in Seattle for about 5 months. My background is both in architecture and in planning. I've written a couple codes for some cities, aside from having built some projects both in Austin as well as other cities as well. Having grown up in San Antonio, I have some background in understanding what it means to be in a city that is lacking in transit. Having been in Seattle, I have been in a city that is great in transit. And so talking about being pro in infrastructure, my partner is going to talk about the transit side of things. I'm actually going to talk about utilities and how I feel like having $1 trillion in infrastructure is actually going to improve things. And so first I'm going to talk about water. So beginning with water, I feel like, particularly if you've been knowledgeable about any of the current events that have happened in the past 12 months, an incident such as Flint, Michigan should not happen. We are a developed country. We're supposed to be a first world nation. So being in that instance, we should be investing in replacing a lot of this existing pipes that we have for both water, potable water, as well as looking at investing in gray water, in using other methods of really recapturing and using the water that we do have. As we go into the 21st century, I feel like we're going to go from having oil wars to water wars throughout the entire world. And so with that, we really need to be more smart about how we are investing our water. Furthermore, as we start to densify and really bring back vibrancy into our cities, I feel like it would be great to have federal input and public investment into water infrastructure to really bulk up those pipelines that we do have in cities and really say like, hey, we want you to build that 20-story, that 30-story tower, and we already have those pipes already made into the roads. And so translating from that, I feel like investments as well into electricity. We talk a lot about autonomous vehicles, about electric cars, about how Tesla is going to be the future for us. At the same time, we still have a lot of electricity that's being produced by coal power plants. And so I feel like having investments into clean energy and really trying to turn all of our electricity into true clean electricity options is going to push us into having a more sustainable and more renewable future. And then capping that off with utilities, I feel like when it comes to being in the digital age, when it comes to being in the 21st century, we actually should be investing in the internet as a utility. The internet should not be something controlled by private corporations. It should be something invested by the public and by the government. And so in that instance, really investing in new lines, in broadband lines, in places that have never had great internet experiences. I feel like when I was growing up, even in high school, I lived on the border of Texas in Del Rio, and my experience of the internet was going to go get a disc at Walmart, and it was the cheapest internet that we could have and afford. And that it wasn't the fastest, but at least I got some semblance and some knowledge of what it meant to have an idea of like what architecture was. And so I feel like when it comes to trying to provide services that are truly advanced and how we are as well an aging system and transfer knowledge into both people who are living in cities and also those who are trying to address issues that are happening in smaller communities, whether those be either those who want to invest in smaller communities as tech entrepreneurs or those who want to invest in smaller cities as medical doctors, those who want to have access to all the things that they're normally used to in larger areas, that we should be investing in the internet as a utility and truly using this money to benefit the entire system.
Hey, Houston, everybody. No, you don't go anywhere. You got.
I thought I started.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, everybody, support these guys. This is harder than it looks. I want to turn to our judges now and get a reaction. Andres, I know you were listening intently, taking notes on your phone while you were so.
Okay.
Do you have any reaction to the argument before?
Well, my feeling is that it was a very complex argument, and that it flew past me, and therefore there's a high likelihood that it might fly past some other people.
Yes.
And so what I would do is get the bumper sticker version, and that way you'll have, I think, a greater effect. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's the framing, the complexity of the argument that, honestly, I'm saying you really need to simplify it for the local schmoes.
Kate, please.
I actually have an idea about that. I think that if we created a bumper sticker that says we could do some, we could, what did I say? We can light rail the fuck out of the country.
I think it's a sad commentary from the two judges meant to bully you up so far. And it's really unfortunate you had to go first.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that if you need to make the argument based on how that every salient point is prefaced by I feel, and it's about fucking infrastructure.
I just want to put a caveat on that. So I don't want to quote any facts because I would not want to be false. Because I feel like there's a lot of.
All right. It's a different culture. He's not German.
John,
Facts are a problem.
I think we could pretty much lay this contestant to rest because he unfortunately, this is your first time.
Yes.
You didn't give him the Walmart rule.
what's the Walmart rule?
If you make a plug for Walmart, you're out of here.
All right, everybody. Ace Houston. All right, he's also from Seattle. Don't hold it against him. He's a wastewater engineer, a licensed engineer. He's a good guy. Give it up for Chad Newton.
All right. In 2017, will the United States benefit from a $1 trillion surge in infrastructure spending? Deferring to our esteemed colleague from Seattle, I would agree that there are a lot of really awesome things that we could do with a $1 trillion infrastructure surge. I agree with him that we need to be thinking big, retooling for the 21st century. There's lots of things that we need. We need to invest in renewable energy, broadband. Over the course of this century, we're going to have to move our entire economy off of fossil fuels to react to climate change, resource depletion. The cheap oil is disappearing. It's not coming back. We need massive amounts of high-speed rail, massive amounts of renewable energy, eliminate all coal, oil. Great. There's all kinds of other things we can do with the money. We need to do lots of infrastructure repair, maintenance on our pipes, water, sewer, roads. A lot of great things that we could do with $1 trillion. In fact, we could even do some more fanciful things. Everyone has their own ideas of what they like. Some people would want to throw it in more medical research, maybe. consider that infrastructure, but lots of new hospitals, conquer cancer. Some people are just really fans of wildlife and unicorns. We could do a mass program on genetic modification and create unicorns, and then terraform most of the western United States and do unicorn ranches. And that would just lay the foundation for a prosperous 21st and 22nd century. There's a lot of things that we could do with $1 trillion of infrastructure spending. However, the operative word in this proposition, in 2017, any infrastructure surge that happens this year will be passed out of our current bipartisan political consensus with our current Congress and our current president. It will not include unicorn ranches or renewable energy or maybe even rail at all. Instead, under the current bipartisan consensus that's been going on for 60 years, infrastructure spending is actually a code word for more freeways. That is what we will actually get for our money. And my contention is that building freeways is past the point of diminishing returns, maybe in the 70s, maybe the 80s, but it was long gone. That money basically falls into two clumps. One is rural freeways. It depends on the state, but there's a handful of DOTs in this country that seem to think every single rural county needs an interstate, when they're actively planning all sorts of new ribbons across the country that were never thought of in the original interstate plan. There was one broadcast on the sound on the Strong Towns a few months about a place in Arkansas where they're seriously trying to build part of this interstate, and they're projecting like 2,500 cars per day. Then in Seattle, you need 10 times that much traffic on a neighborhood arterial to get like more than one lane. And they're proposing a high-speed, grade-separated road. It's just not a productive investment. Investing $1 trillion in more rural freeways is only impoverishing America. People think that it brings growth. But at the macro level, all you're doing is spreading things around. Whatever happened to the county before, now it moves to this other county. You're not actually creating any new people or new jobs. You're just increasing the infrastructure liabilities of government. The other bucket the money goes into is urban freeway expansion. And this could be justified since most of our freeways are 50, 60 years old and they're kind of falling apart, sometimes literally. So you think maybe we should spend a bunch of money and rehab all our freeways. It's going to be a huge multi-billion, multi-trillion-dollar project. Will they do that? No. The DOT's plans are only to expand the capacity for congestion relief. Local example, the Columbia River project in Portland. There's the 4-lane drawbridge, part of Interstate 5, between across the Columbia River from Portland to the northern suburbs. They had a $3 billion plan hooked up to replace it. Did it involve a shiny new 4-lane drawbridge to replace the 80-year-old 4-lane drawbridge? No. The $3 billion was for a 12 to 18-lane monstrosity with miles upon miles of new collector distributor lanes and ramps, massively increasing the ability for people to move to Clark County, live at very low densities in the sprawl, and try to commute to jobs in Oregon. All it would do is further impoverish the metro area and actually negate all the planning that Portland has been doing, kind of intensification of the urban area. It would not relieve congestion. All it does is induce more people to move to Clark County and drive across the shiny 12-lane bridge. So in conclusion, I might support infrastructure in theory. However, in reality, in 2017, an $1 trillion infrastructure surge will basically be a towering volcano of waste that will only make America poorer, less productive, and more in debt. Thanks.
We broke the mic. Andres, please, reaction.
Well,
Okay, you got to stay up.
I thought it was a remarkable performance. And very disappointing because I misunderstood your first half in which you were giving me a menu of cool shit longer than the menu in Cheesecake Factory. It's everything we have ever wanted that $1 trillion could buy, and I was salivating. And then you flipped on us, and you destroyed everything. You swept it off the table. It was masterfully done, but I'm very depressed. And I'm going back to my drink.
All right, Kate.
I feel like what you're talking about is not a deficit of spending, but a deficit of leadership. So I'd like to know what you kind of do about it.
John, no, you get a rebuttal later. John.
Well, I think that I speak for everyone who can't hear me. I think I speak for everyone that can hear me in strong support of the idea that engineers should not be allowed to make intelligent arguments. Because it's just like crap to them. It's just like crap to them. They keep trying to bring in logic. In this case, when it came to the feeling part, the evocative heartstring tug, when you went for the unicorn, I mean, it's really clearly not your area. You gotta play your strengths more.
Everybody, Chad, you. I went too fast. We had a late entry today, so I want you guys to be extra kind and generous to this guy. He's from Spokane, Washington. He's the city planner for Spokane. He said he heard me speak one time and was bored to tears. So, give it up, everybody, for Louis Mueller.
Thank you for having me. I'm from the deplorable part of the state, about 4.5 hour drive away from here on the kind of the poor, where struggling to be diverse economic side. I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to make my community great again. I'm only asking for about $2 billion. I really want to appreciate and thank the CNU. We were one of the 4 communities in the nation, the recipient of the tie between CNU and US DOT. I'm only asking for about $900 million for this project. We are completing a new freeway through our community. It has, though, a bike ped trail along with this freeway facility. It's one of those facilities that has been on the books in our community since about 1945. It's one of those that hasn't ever died. So I'm only asking for $900 million to make it great through the community to tie in I-90. So that's one thing that Washington State is paying for. But if we get reimbursed, that'd be great. Second thing I'm asking for is, that's only $900 million. That's only, and these are real stories of the rich and famous. So we are planning. We don't think we're good enough for a trolley system, a rail trolley system. So we are pushing for, and we hope it turns out well, a kind of a fancy electric powered bus. Community didn't want catenary system, couldn't afford rails. So we are making a pitch for probably one of the first in the nation of a kind of a trolley, light rail looking, rubber tired, battery powered bus at this point. So, and we're hoping we get all the benefits of those rails as a part of this facility. What else should I do? So another thing is, and this is a very strong environmental mandate. We have a river we're trying to protect. We have gone out and bonded ourselves. If we get some reimbursement for this back, that'd be great. Around $200 million to fix our combined sewer overflow system. And so, and you all know that green infrastructure doesn't really work. So just give me a second. We're doing some of that, but probably 75–80% of those dollars are going into tanks. So we are going to store stormwater, rainwater from, and there's some good, but these are real projects. This is the real stuff. $1 trillion isn't a lot of money. It should be 2 or 3. Really. We have a lot of issues that we're being told to fix. We're doing the best we can. We're putting parks on top of the CSO tanks. We're doing parking garages. These are multi-use facilities. Hey, we looked at putting low-income housing on top of the CSO tank. That was killing. I think I've done all I can do. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Nice job. Nice job. For last minute substitution, that was fantastic. Andres, please.
Well, I was going to say something very simple, which is hope springs eternal. And by the time you finished, I think you ran over hope with that bus of yours. And we've got to just get used to that kind of stuff. And really have a nice day. Let's just scale it down and have a nice day. That we can actually deliver.
Kate, please.
It couldn't be more symbolic that you brought your baggage with you. I think that rule number one is knowing your audience, so this is a room of optimists. Number two, I think somebody should get him a drink.
I've had enough.
Numb the pain.
John.
Well, I'm tremendously disappointed in my fellow judges. This young man clearly came a long way, took a great risk to make such a putrid argument. He really should be pilloried, drawn and quartered, run through the streets by mad fellows. We don't really have those facilities today, so I think we should get him a drug.
Everybody, look. All right, our next one up, a friend of mine, he's from Washington, D.C. Don't hold that against him. I want to get this right now. You're a senior fellow at the R Street Institute, which has nothing to do with evil lobbyists or anything you hear in Washington, D.C. He's a writer for the American Conservative. Give it up for John Coppins.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate that. Yes, I am, in fact, from Washington, D.C. I do work in Washington, D.C. in politics and infrastructure, as a matter of fact. And I can tell you something about a $1 trillion infrastructure package that will be passed in 2017. It's going to be everything you just heard. It is going to be terrible because it will be everything that is big enough for politicians to put a ribbon in front of that they can cut. So you will get a 20-lane highway if you can get a 20-foot ribbon in front of it.
Yeah! Fuck ribbons!
You will get a highway plowed through your local historic district if you can hang a 40-foot bow from it. And you will get it in every state of the nation. What I am proposing is that this $1 trillion will not make America great again. But I can. I have a proposal that will not take $1 trillion. It will be $1 billion. And it will truly save our infrastructure system. I propose to you $1 billion for an endless supply of ribbons and scissors that are not 20 feet wide, but are 3 feet wide, that cannot be put in front of a 20-lane highway, but can be put in front of a road diet. What I am proposing is $1 billion from the federal government sent to every local government, some federal government, some state government, county government, regional management. Sure, you get your ribbons too. We put it in front of a rehabbed Main Street and you get your photo op. We put it in front of a jitney, you get your photo op. And if you put it in front of a highway expansion through downtown, you don't get any ribbons. That's my argument.
John Coffin, everybody. Andres, please.
4 words. Turn that into a constitutional amendment. No ribbon longer than 3 feet.
Kate.
When you were talking, I was thinking this is going to be the best infrastructure you've ever seen. I love that you talked about ribbons because one of my favorite civic engagement opportunities was when Jane Jacobs had a ribbon tying ceremony with her daughter and her best friend to kill the Lower Manhattan Expressway. I thought that was the best thing ever, because who's gonna argue with 2 little girls tying their ribbons together? Who's gonna go and tie that shit? No one. But you lost me at where's my gold shovel?
All right, John, please.
Well, I can see that you have an intimate knowledge of the psyche of political and I think that it's very important we feed these creatures what they eat. Small children, yellow ribbons, puppies, unicorns. Yes. So I think that on the basis of your deep research into the essence of this problem, I think that you are way out ahead. I expect to see that needle move quite a bit.
All right, John Coffin. I know everybody, I need all 4 of our contestants up here. All right, we got our Q&A round. Come on up here, Ace. Where's Lewis? Where's Lewis?
He got a drink.
Did you guys scare him out of here? All right, here he comes. All right, Ace, I got a question for you.
Where's the check?
What about, hey, come on over here. Come on over here.
Where's the check?
You can use this mic here. Ace, what about this notion that this money is just going to wind up going for freeways? It's not going to go for clean energy and all the things you were talking about. It's just going to get wasted on much on highways.
I call bullshit on that. And I'm going to say what should be happening is that we should be investing in things like the Tiger Grant and things like federal matching, where we're trusting in local organizations and local political entities to trust and know their own constituents, to know that, let's say hey, we have a bicycle master plan that should be fully funded. Let's go ask the federal government for money. So they get matching, they get that federal funding, we have fully funded bike master plan.
Chad, step up here. Or I'm sorry, not Chad. Yeah, Chad, step up here. No, not Chad. Yeah, Chad. I'm trying to think of what. Your argument was, all right, let's do this. Chad, you're an engineer.
Yes.
You've got to see all the projects that need to be done, right? I mean, what do you do about all the projects that are sitting out there that should be done?
We just have to wait a little while. Perhaps in the 2030s, maybe, there will be a different political consensus. Then we can maybe build awesome stuff if unicorns exist. And there's no federal deficit.
All right. Lewis, I want to ask you. You made a comment that 1 trillion is not enough. It should be 2 trillion, it should be 3 trillion. Doesn't that tell you that something's fundamentally wrong? Just pouring more money into this is not the answer?
Well, I guess being reflective, I'm a little disappointed in myself. And maybe this is a good lesson for everybody in the crowd. If crazy stimulus packages come around, maybe the last one wasn't so crazy, but people want ideas on the books. They want shovel-ready projects. That means but no, we need to get good stuff on the books. Kind of like my freeway from 1945 that's going to be built. We need stuff on the books that you can go. All right.
John,
I'm working on that thing, so it's heartfelt. That's
all right. John, I got a question for you then. So I like the novelty of your argument, but what do we do? What do we do about all this failing infrastructure? I mean, do you just give up? Like, what's the plan?
You can get a 3-foot ribbon to repair a road. You get no ribbons for building new ones. Ribbons are utterly disqualified from building new roads and they are widely distributed for intensifying unexisting land.
All right, we're going to have our final arguments here now. Before we do final arguments, I'd like to hear from you three on what do you want to hear in this last round? What would sway you one way or the other? Andres. In deep contemplation.
It's, well, I'm recovering slowly from that dose of cold water, of highways everywhere, et cetera. But I have to say that the kind of argument of the 3-foot ribbon and the metaphor that represents and the incredible sort of irony and sarcasm involved in that is the kind of thing that really has legs and could actually just embarrass the hell out of the shithead.
What do you want to see in the closing arguments?
I want to hear some tactical implementation plans for how we do that. How do we get these projects on the books? What do these projects look like? How do we connect them from community to community to make a real difference? I want to hear more about that.
John?
Well, I think at this point, it's Jonathan's team's fight to lose.
Okay.
I think that the rhetoric about 3-foot ribbons is so powerful. The imagery is just rich, dripping with sarcasm. Can we get like ribbons that actually drip sarcasm? So I think that really what I'm looking for, they could post on their lead at this point and probably win this. So I think that for people who are now clearly the underdogs, arguing in support of the $1 trillion surge, they need to abandon all pretext of logic, principle, cogent arguments.
Build the wall.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I think they need to bring it with the emotional, visceral gut feel. They need to find some other they can blame. They need to find some person to be afraid of that $1 trillion will save us. So
all right.
Unless they can bring the emotional argument, I think it's pretty much.
All right. Well, let's hear from closing arguments. Ace, you're up first. Give it up for Ace, everybody.
All right. So first off, as a millennial, I would like to plug my Twitter, which is @Ace of Cascadia. That is Cascadia forever. But also Texas. Anyway, as we move forward with this $1 trillion in infrastructure, what I'm looking towards is not the New Deal. I am looking for the next deal. I want the next deal. I want $1 trillion to go towards infrastructure because not only will we lay the groundwork for the future of our country in many ways, but we can also lay the groundwork for a lot of people who are in blue-collar states, a lot of people who work in manufacturing and are afraid of getting their jobs taken away by foreigners when we really know that they're getting taken away by automation, to work in other ways and still be a part of this economy as we go on. That being said, I feel like one of the biggest things, and it's an issue because of having this red state, blue state dynamic and this really intense cat fight that is just going on for years and years, is to connect. So let's connect. Let's connect in many ways. Let's connect in empowering regional mobility to actually have money and actually implement plans, because Lord knows they're not getting money from the cities, and Lord knows that they're not getting money from the states, because most states have Republican governors anyway, and so they don't actually want to invest in shit. And so let's give them money to do plans. Let's put money in where our mouth is. Let's actually have plans that are already on the books, because there are many plans already on the books, and actually put money behind them and build them out and actually see if they will work.
Ace Houston, everybody. Hey, Chad, you're up.
it. The loyal opposition has been trying to make the case that there are some nice things we can do.
I want to let the audience, especially contestants, know that the judges should never have empty glasses. So.
Chad, it's your turn. Go ahead.
All right. They have not made the case, at least I didn't quite hear it, of how or why Congress will do awesome things. I think it's much more safer to just put the kibosh on the infrastructure $1 trillion thing and save our money for later. Because sometimes the best infrastructure is no infrastructure. It's actually really awesome. True story. The fewer freeways and water lines you build out there with federal money, the more people decide just by natural market mechanisms to live in a more intense way closer to the city using existing infrastructure. We've already wasted so many billions and maybe trillions of dollars in infrastructure in this country. We could probably have like 8 times as many people live here just to make use of all the water, sewer, and roads we've already built. So if we just put a hold on new stuff for a while, I think it would be great.
CNU, everybody. Good.
So I got here Wednesday to this great conference with friends, colleagues, mentors, but I'm sensing after all we've learned, you guys are still trying to mitigate. I think you just need to learn to adapt. This is about adaptation. This is not enough. One is not enough. I will finish with, what did we hear from Mr. Biden? Tail end, after Osama was taken care of and other kind of crazy stuff, I was like, whoa, what is that? What did he finish with? This is America. We have always been positive. We will survive and triumph. Thank you.
All right, Chad. Close this up, man.
So as a researcher, I take feedback seriously and recognize when I have been, had oversight and would like to address one of those oversights at this moment. You know, a 3-foot ribbon is not enough. We need a golden tiny children's shovel as well. And so I propose that because I have promised $1 billion.
Make your hands big.
I cannot comment. However, I have proposed $1 billion, and true to my word, I cannot go over that number. And so the golden shovels will be paid for by tax credits, creating public-private partnerships for the Golden Shovel Initiative. Thank you.
All right, everybody. This is where you decide who wins this debate. After hearing all these arguments, do you support the proposition? Or are you feeling squeamish about it? Text your answer right now. All right, now we're going to see if technology works, right? Oh, no. This is where we started the night. This is where we started the night. Now, the winner of this debate is going to be the one who moved the needle the most. So let's see who won. Oh, opposed, move the needle. Congratulations, John and Chad. Debate immortality. We're going to take like a 5-minute break and we'll be back with round 2. Stick around, everybody.
I think this constitutional.
What's up with all the negativity? That was a lot of opposition.
I actually, I thought about it, and it came up being sarcastic. Yeah, exactly.
All right, friends, here we go for round two. Round 2.0. We got a new proposition in front of you, and I need you to vote. This proposition reads, smart growth is the same thing as new urbanism, and new urbanism is the same thing as smart growth. I want you to text your code to 22333. If you support that proposition, you want to text 423664. And if you oppose that proposition, you want to text the number 423665. We'll give you a few minutes to do that.
The problem with the line for the bar is their filter is down. Hello? The bar is having trouble with their printers, so if you want, pay with cash. Thank you.
And that is always true in life. Yeah. Oh, the computer's going? If it goes, it goes, right? All right, let's do this thing. Let's give it up again for our judges. We got first Andres Duarte. From Lafayette, Kate Thrill. And everybody's favorite, Sean Anderson. All right, our first contestant, arguing in support of the opposition, of the proposition, excuse me. She's from Alabama. I'm contractually obligated to tell you, she is the head bitch in charge who gets shit done. Everybody give it up for Laura Clemons.
Hey y'all, what's up? Woo! So, we're supposed to be talking about is smart growth the same thing as new urbanism? Super complicated, right? New urbanist, smart growth, which side of the line do you fall on? Right? So I thought I'd get up here and talk about one of my favorite things, alcohol. Right? When I started drinking alcohol and got pretty sophisticated, you know, because I'm pretty sophisticated, I thought Merlot, yeah, Merlot's fancy, right? It's really well known. Everybody likes it. It's not intimidating. Anybody can do it, right? I like Merlot. Merlot's easy. All my friends are drinking Merlot. And I don't know a lot about wine, but I know that people drink Merlot, and so I'm cool, right? Right. And then one of my friends are like, hey, lady, you like Merlot? Why don't you come over here and try French Bordeaux? And I said, French Bordeaux, what's that? And they were like, girl, it is sophisticated. It is refined. Its tannins are well balanced. It's a sexy wine for sophisticated people. And it costs maybe a little more. I was like, does it? No, not really, but people think it does. I was like, cool. Bordeaux. Now I'm woke and I'm sophisticated. Yeah, love it. Bordeaux, yeah. Yeah. And then I was like, but what's the difference between Bordeaux and Merlot? And then I get on the interwebs and I Google and it says, it's the same thing. It's all the Merlot grape. Like one is raised in California and has some terroir. And this one's raised in France and it's got a different terroir. And we can get in an argument about the complexities and nuances of which one is simple and unsophisticated, and which one is very complex and beautiful and has a higher elegance and standard to it. But at the end of the day, it's still a Merlot grape, right? And at the end of the day, I like a glass of wine. Right? And at the end of the day, you know what my problem is? All my friends drink beer. Bud Light. I'm from Alabama. They bring a case of Bud to my house. I'm like, get out of here. John, put that phone down and say, get the fuck out of here. Right? And I'm like, Bud Light, we got bigger problems than if I want Merlot or Bordeaux. We got fucking Bud Light rolling in the house. Right? Wine drinkers need to get together and realize we got a bigger problem than some asshole rolling in with a case of Bud Light, right?
Ah, shit. Great job, by the way. That was brilliant. Step back a little bit. Andres, please.
I really like your problem.
Kate.
I can say that Laura has been my roommate for 4 Congresses now, consistently. Yes. And she is one of the most sophisticated people I know when it comes to alcohol. So I trust her.
John.
Great job, seriously. Good job.
I would like to focus for a moment. While this was certainly entertaining, I think it was the wise actor Paul Giamatti who once said, "I'm not drinking no fucking Merlot."
And then a man walks up.
Everybody give it up for Laura. All right, our next debater arguing against the proposition. He's from Salt Lake City. He's a CNU All-Star. Give it up for my friend, Michael Hathorne.
Hey, Kate. How you doing? So, Laura, you did a great job. The problem that I had is, being from Utah, everything you said, it was like you're talking dolphin. I couldn't understand what you were saying. So, I'm at a disadvantage because I really can't counter her argument because I don't get it. I just have to admit that right up front. So this, it's interesting because this topic, I mean, this is not brain surgery. I think we all recognize that. All you have to do with this argument is tie it. And again, I'm going to show my Utah roots here. All you have to do is tie this to genealogy. This is all about genealogy. That's it. It explains all of this. We all know the stories. We all know the heritage and the legacy of the Iwani principles. Okay? The Iwani principles, in essence, are the parent. Okay? Smart growth and new urbanism are the children. They can't be the same. Okay? Let's take it a step further. How many of you are familiar with the Mouzon principle? I mean, this is easy stuff. Susan, would you come up for a minute and help me with this?
Everybody's bringing props.
This is easy. We all know who this is, right? This is Susan Henderson, right? Susan, will you verify that that's you? Okay, this is Susan. Okay, no, please stay with me. This is good. If you're arguing from the side of what Laura's trying to do by talking dolphin, then using that logic, this is also Susan. Okay? Susan, is that you? No. Are you sure?
Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but I don't think it is.
Okay. All right. Here's where it gets a little weird, okay? Again, using Laura's logic, this is also Susan. Okay? This is easy stuff, folks. I know there's some delicate geniuses in the crowd, but you can get this. Susan, is that you?
No, that's no.
No, you're sure about that?
I in fact am sure about that.
Okay. Okay, so the bottom line on this, if all of these pictures actually are Susan, then I have no leg to stand on. And Laura is correct. But we're all educated people, aren't we? Well, okay, you're not, but everyone else is. Folks, I can guarantee for you, this is not Susan Henderson. This is not Susan. This also is not Susan. Quite a bit closer than the last guy, but this is not Susan. So in summation, all you need to do to understand this particular issue is understand that through the Mouzon principle, we can all understand and embrace the fact that new urbanism and smart growth are different. The end.
Get up and right. Yes, please.
I don't know whether I understand what he said. But I understand